Hi, let me make sure everything is working before we continue. Okay, let's turn down the volume. Alright, the last time we tried to create the authentication part of the application. Let's continue with that. So let's start with npm and server to see what we get. So let's test our REST function to see if everything is working. This gets the list of users in database. Let's also try and then create. Let's also try and then create another user. Let's use LeBron James. LeBron and password. This one creates a new user. Send. Okay, it works. We have the user details here. Then we have the account details here. Okay, let's try and log in with the new account that we created. So let's say LeBron at Gmail, then the password is password. Send the request. Yeah, we are logged in. We have ID, the name, password. Alright. Cool. One thing I noticed here is when we log in, we are still sending. Let me show you. When we log in, we are still sending the password back to the user, which is something I don't want in here. So let's go back into our user controller, and then inside our user controller, let's look for login user. Yeah, here. So in here, we will send back our ID, which will be, let's say, underscore ID will be user dot underscore ID, email, user dot email, and name, user dot name. So that we don't send back the password back to the user, which is for security purposes. So let's go back into the rest.request file, send the request. Okay, so we are only giving the ID, the email, and then the name. But I also feel like we should also do created at and then updated it. So let's say created at should be, let's try and make this one smaller. User dot created at, and then updated at should be user dot updated at. Okay, let's go back and try and then log in again. Send the request. we have a problem. All right. Let's try and log out first. Where's the logout? Send. Okay. Then let's log in again. Let's come in here. Yeah. Okay. Everything is working. So we get a 200 and then an OK. And then we get back the ID of the user, the email, their name, the creator that, and then updated that. Okay. There's a little correction I wanted to do from the last time. Let's save this. So now that we have the back end going, let's try and create a transfer model. So back in here, let's create a new file and say transfer model.js. So what do you want to do? First should be able to transfer money, which means that user should be authenticated first, and then also user should have funds in account, and then also we need the account details of the receiver. Basically, these are the things that we should be working at. Okay, so how then do we structure our model around this? So let's bring in const mongoose, const require mongoose, and then we can say const transfer schema should be new mongoose.schema. Then we have sender, because we need the sender ID, should be a type of mongoose.schema dot types dot should be an object ID, and then should we be required? Yes. So required should be true, and then we need a receiver ID type should be mongoose.schema dot types dot object ID. I think I forgot to refer to this as coming from the user model. So we say ref user, and we do the same user. Then we have the amount type should be a number. Okay. So we come down here and say we export our schema. Try and export our model by saying mongoose.export equals to mongoose.model. We have the transfer, and then transfer schema. Is it same? Cool. So let's also try and then create the transfer controller. So we say transfer controller, which is where all our business logic will exist. Say make transfer should be an async. First response, and then res.json. Let's test out this endpoint and say transfer money. Then let's export this and say module.export equals to make transfer. Okay. So the endpoint, then we have to also create the route as well. Say transfer routes.js. We bring in our router, which we get it from Express. Sorry. Then we say we initialize our router, then we export our router. Yeah. All right. Then back in our server file, the endpoint that we would want to use will be app.use transfer. We will use the transfer route. We haven't imported this yet, so we can say let's bring it here. Const transfer routes. Should we require it from our route, then transfer route. Do we have any errors? Cool, no errors. So back in the transfer route, let's test to make a post request out of the post to the transfer endpoint, and then in the controller we are saying that the transfer controller, we bring in the make transfer, which will be a post request because we'll be taking data from the user. So back in the transfer routes, we can then import make transfer from the transfer controller. So controllers, we're going to run into an error because of this. Make transfer, yeah, that. So we can test our endpoint by having to make an HTTP request to an endpoint of transfer. So let's come back to our request.rest file, then say make transfer. So it should be a post request, and then back in here we have our HTTP local host, which supports 5000. Transfer content type should be application. Actually, I failed to mention that we can also make these types of, we can also test these endpoints by using other applications like Postman. But usually I prefer using this. Okay. So then we will have our content in here, which we've not decided yet, but let's just test the endpoint because we are not taking any data yet. Okay, so the endpoint is working, so make transfer. So what then do we need with the controller? Actually, we should have brought these comments here. Let's cut this out, bring it here, let's paste it somewhere here. Okay. So what we need first is to make sure that the user is authenticated, but we've already done that by having to create a middleware here, which is the auth middleware, which checks if the user has a token. Yeah. And then the we should try to get the user, verify the token, we get the user. Then if there's no user, we return 400, all these jazz. Okay, so what we can do is back in the transfer route, we can then bring in our auth middleware. Which should be in the middleware and then auth, and then we bring it here. That's the first part of the problem solved. So let's test the endpoint to see if that works. Yeah, make transfer. Let's log out to see if we can hit the endpoint. Come in here, log out, and then send the same request back. Not authorized. Good. All right, so then let's log back into the account, login, send request. We are logged in. Let's try and then make the transfer. Yeah, cool. So we've had the authentication part covered, and then what we need to be able to make the transfer, let's bring these comments in here so they don't sit outside. Let's bring it here. So they should be authenticated. Yeah, let's bring this one up. So the authentication patch done, should be able to make transfer. I think we don't need this one. And then should have fans. Yeah. Okay. So for us to get the sender will have to send us the details of the details of the receiver, which will be the name, account number, and then the name and then the account number. Basically, these are the two things that we would need to be able to get the receiver's details to be able to make the transfer. So so we can get the name, account number, first of all, from request.body. So let's go back into our request.rest file. Let's try and get some of the users in our database. But keep in mind we have logged in as LeBron James. So we need the name of the user, which would be this. And then let's bring it here. It should be this. And then we need the account number. Account number should be, we can actually get the, wait. So we have the name here. And then we have the email here. So what we can actually do is look for this ID in the account model. So let's create a new file here and say account control.js. Bring this one here. I know it's getting a little bit complicated, but I think we can sort this one out. So what we want to do is to we bring in Mongoose. Now we then can say get all list of all accounts. So get accounts, get accounts will be an async function passing the request response, and then put in our try catch, and then we say, then we bring in account model. We come to a model, then account model, and then let's export the account function, get the accounts function, model.export, because we get account, put it in an object, get account. So we say const accounts, which will be the list of accounts, will be an await account.find, and we then try, and then we send back the account, but first we then have to do a 200 response status. Let's do a 200, and then in case there's an error, we console.log the error.sh, and then we have a 400, which should be a bad request.json. Then we have an error. We have a message. Let's say return now server error. That then also creates a path for the account, the routes for the account. So you come in here, create a new path, then say account routes JS, then you bring in a router from Express, then we initialize our router, and we export. So in case when there's a get request for the account, for the get the list of accounts, we get account like that, which is just automatically imported. So in an event when there's a so back in our server, we then can say that when there's a request to the account endpoint, we use a account route, And let's import the account routes here. We'll do const account routes should be equals to Europa inside our route and account routes. Do we have any errors? Oh boy. What errors do we have in here? Oh, it's app.use, not user. Okay, so app.use. Okay, everything is working. So let's test this endpoint. I know we've we've created, we don't need this, a lot of routes. User routes, we don't need a user route. User account controller. Let's keep this one. We don't need the server. We don't need the user controller. Let's close up. And then, yeah. So we will come back to this because we will need details. We're trying to get the account number of the username, Kofi Ahin. So let's say get all account details here. Should be a get request. So HTTP host port 5000. Yeah, so let's test the endpoints to see if this works. We have an error. Okay. Account control. Account. Let's check the account route to see what's happening here. Router. We have exports. We have the okay. Working a server. Oh, spelled the account wrong. Okay, works. So this gives us the list of accounts that we have, but we can also do a join a join in the account controller by saying that we want to populate the user type. So let's send, and then instead of getting the let's come back to our account model. Ref should be user. Okay. Dot populate. Right. Oh, works. This one works, but I don't know why we haven't problem here. This one also works. Okay, it actually works, but I think there's a problem with this. The first but so let's also clear the create an endpoint to clear the account data. So let's say okay, delete account and request response. So we await account.delete many, and then rest.json. We have a account cleared. So delete account. So back inside we don't need this. Back inside account route, which will be here. So this one, this one gets list of all accounts, and the next one you delete all accounts. So that will be a router dot. I make a delete request to / want to use the delete account function. Okay. Like, did we export? Yeah, we did. So we will have to import that here. And that works. So let's test the endpoint as well to delete. Eventually all of this will come back handy. So we say the delete request to HTTP localhost 5000 to accounts send request accounts cleared. Good. And then inside let's also try and then delete. Let's send the same request back to the list of accounts to see if we can get any. Okay, there's no data in the accounts database, and also I want to clear the user's account. So that goes. All right, so when we send the request, it's empty. Cool. So let's just try and then create a new account for a user with LeBron James. So this should be create user, send. Okay, user has been created. Cool. So let's go back to the get all the list of accounts. This one says get all. Yeah, let's get this. Good. Okay, so we're populating the user. We have LeBron James, email, password, created that there. Then we populate. This will be the account number, the PIN, the balance, 0. Okay. Also, let's try and then create another user. Let's use yours truly. And then, yeah. Let's make a post request to the user. Name, accounts created. Good. So back in the list of, let's get a list of all account users. So we have one, we have LeBron James, and then we have Kofi Annan. Great. So this is what we wanted. So back inside the transfer controller, back inside the transfer controller, what we want is, if we have the name of the user, we can get that from user database. So let's bring in, because this will be a combination of using either 2 or 3 models. So we can say, first let's bring in the user model, user model. All right. So let's go through it step by step. The name, first you have to verify the name and then the account number. Okay, so first of all, let's verify name and verify account number. So back in request.rest file, let's log in as the login part. Let's log in to authenticate the user. All right, let's send the request to login. Good. We've logged in as LeBron James. Cool. So if we are to get the if we are to get the list of the account users in the account, we have Kofi Annan's account number. So this is the Kofi Annan's data. Yeah, we have Kofi Annan's account number to be this. So let's copy it here. All right, let's create a notes file. Okay, so name is Kofi Annan, account number is that. Cool. So basically these are the 2 things that we need. So first of all, let us try and then get to see if this works. So what we can do is that we can come back in here and say the account numbers that. So do we close this? Let's save this. Close responses. Bring this one here. All right. So where is it? 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 Wait, where is it? Is it login? Log out. Get profile. Make transfer. Let's bring this down. Let's cut this one out. And then bring this somewhere here. Cool. And save. So let's send the request. Transfer money. Okay. So let's have a look at the structure of the account model. Okay. So we have the account number here, which is type of string. We have the balance, and then we have the user here. So back inside our account controller, we bring in the account model. And first of all, let us verify the transfer controller. Yeah. Let us verify the account number because we are bringing it in from our client. So we can say check account number should be await account dot find one. Then say account number, something like this. Also let's log check account number, something like that. So let's send the request. We have a problem for account. It's not defined. Wait. Transfer model. Oh, we didn't bring in the account model. Say accounts require go into model account model. Cool. Let's try and send the request again. Cool. So first part of it works, which is we then return back the account with the account number 170438626. Cool. So that works. Cool. Then after verifying so let's say if not check account number, we return status 400 and send a message back by saying account number is not valid. Other than that, continue. So back in our request.rest file, let's send that. You still make the transfer. When we check the console.log, we have the details of the account user here. Let's try and send a wrong account number by adding, let's say, 4 to it. Send the request. Account number not valid. Great. So first part of it done. So back inside, let's close account model. We don't need the server. We don't need the account controller for now. We don't need the routes. We don't need the transfer routes. Okay. All right. So Uh, Someone is asking in the chat how much percentage of the project is completed by now. Well, I can't give specific number because um, we are now working on the back end part of the application, and we might add and then take out some functionalities. So not too sure, but the most important thing is you enjoy what you're doing and you keep up grinding until you feel like it's in a position where you can actually put it out there. So for now, I'm not too sure. So let's continue. So the next thing is to verify the name, which we get from the request for. So verify the name. Verify account number. Okay, and then oh wait. Okay, let's bring this here. Then let's verify. Oh, come on. Let's verify the name. So we can do const check name. We await user.find one and then name. Sorry. So we console so that log the check. First, we have to check the database to see if it will return as a user with the name that the client is requested, has supplied, provided, sorry. So let's send the request. Internal server error. Okay. Name, Kofi Ayin. All right. Let's come back here. Send the request again. We have the account number. Okay. It works. All right. So we have the name also working as well. Great. So the next thing is to also provide the amount, which will be, let's say, let's put 100, 1,000. Let's give it 100. Let's give it 100. So let's come back in here. Okay. So we've done our checks. We've checked the account number. We've checked, verified the name. If all of that passes, then now we check if that has enough funds in account. So we do that by having to check the amount that the sender is making from their request. So we can also get that as well from the requested body. So then we can actually get the details of the person sending the account from the request.user. You know what I mean? So once we can find the sender ID should be from request.user._id. Since the person has logged into the account. So then it's getting complicated, I know. Let's as well find the account of user and check the account user balance. So we can say sender will be equals to await account dot find one, and then in that situation we want the user to be the sender ID. So console log sender. Let's send back let's console.log the sender and then send back the sender. The sender will be the details of the account holder, if you understand what I'm saying. So send the request. Yeah. So we have the balance of 0. Let's go back to Compass and then update the Compass and then update the details of the account holder. Let's connect to a database and then look for the database money transfer. And then let's try and make this bigger. The money transfer, we have the account and then pen balance. Let's edit this by giving it, let's say, 1,000. Then we update, and then in the situation, let's give this one, let's give it 500, and then update. Okay, cool. Let's minimize this and send the request again. So we have 1,000 here, and then let's continue. So the amount that we are trying to transfer is 100, whatever equivalence amount. Let's say £100 or $100 or whatever currency that you are operating with. So inside the transfer controller, you will say that if not sender, let's also say a bad request, and then we say invalid user, something like that. We'll change the error message later. Other than that, let's check the balance of the sender. So we then say the balance if okay, so we say if sender dot balance is less than the amount that the user is sending we send a bad request, some with a message of insufficient insufficient funds, if that's how you spell insufficient. Other than that, you say console.log and make transfer. Let's send a message here and say make transfer. Okay, so I know it's long and winding, but usually that's how programming goes. We try and then refactor our code later, but let's continue. All right, so when we make the request, make transfer, since it's just 100, let's try and send more than that. Let's say 10,000, and let's send the request insufficient funds. Great. So let's come back to 100, send the request. Right, our application is crashing at this point. Let's send the request again. What's happening? Right. We have an error here. Send it again. What's happening? Okay, works. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, so now that we have that, let's also we've already done this, but we already have the account number here. So what I'd rather would want to do is okay, let's continue. Get the receiver, we await find one, like that. All right. All right. So let's paste the code here. Yeah. So on the console log receiver, can't spell. Let's make the request again. Why do we have this? The connection with the crystal is not so far. The process is discovery of back request. What's happening? Okay. So that works, which has a balance of 500. Okay. So what we can then do is that we then do the addition and then the add amount to receiver balance and deduct amount from sender balance. So we will say receiver dot balance plus equals to amount, then sender dot balance minus equals to amount. Then we await receiver dot save, then await sender dot save. Cool. Then let's send we send back a message of let's say success, true, sender balance, sender dot balance, like that. That'll work. Okay, moment of truth. Let's send request. Yay, 900. And then let's make another request. 800, 700, 600, 500. So 300, 200, 100, then 0. And then we should have insufficient funds. Great. Oh, I see what was happening. You're supposed to return from this function. Sorry. When it is, yeah, let's return from here. Let's return this as well. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then let's clear the you keep up grinding until you feel like it's in a position where you can actually put it out there. So for now, I'm not too sure. So let's continue. So So basically, what we try doing is, first of all, we require the user, we get the account, and then the make transfer. Yeah. But then also, we have to also create the transfer. You have to also create the transfer database, transfer data, where we save the transaction. So we can say transfer equals to new transfer, then sender ID will be request user dot underscore ID, then user ID, receiver ID will be, receiver ID will be receiver dot underscore ID, then the amount will be the amount. So transfer dot create, sorry. So let's bring in the transfer model. So when we check the transfer model here, we need the sender ID, receiver ID, and then the amount. Code it. So we then save, all right. So that's pretty much with the transfer function, the make transfer function. Call it. All right. So yeah. So let's go back to Compass, and or somebody can just enter into my account and then just change some figures and my account balance will change. God damn. Refresh. Once we refresh to see what we can find. Reset. Oh, yeah, refresh. Oh, -1,000, -100. Oh. Wait, we have a problem. Oh, that has been sorted. So let's add another 1,000, 10,000, and then update. Cool. And then back in our request.rest file, let's send the request. Let's create. It's not a constructor. Wait. Oh, we need to await this. Sorry. Sorry. So back in Compass, we should have transfer. Refresh. Yeah. All right. So we have that. Can do it. Let's also create an endpoint where we can clear transfer. It should be an async request response. We await transfer. That's the late many. Later on, the delete many function will have to be what? This is a model, sorry. It should be in the controller. So, and there's a delete response request. I want to delete transfers, which automatically imported. All right. So back into our request.rest file. Let's say this is just to clear database for transfers. So it's supposed to be a delete request. HTTP first port 5000 transfers. Send. Cannot delete transfers. What? HTTP localhost transfers. What? Oh wait. Oh, we didn't send back. What is the problem? let's save. All right, it's working. Okay. I think this is. Oh. That we can do for now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep on pushing. Thank you. Bye.